Hi friends, well this is a little bit of a catch-up video with a few bits and pieces, and I hope you're all very well. I'm much better than I've been in a while, and that's a good thing. So first things first, Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. Now where's my little bit of paper? Here it is. So favourite doily, so I've been working on it and doing bits and pieces, and I thought I'd do a little bit of work on camera. Where's my favourite doily gone? There it is. This is one of my favourite doilies because it's got these little raised, puffy, very tiny applique. Are they berries or buds? They're probably flower buds. And I've put the little bow near the centre. So, favourite fabric. I've done a few and I'm going to work on number 2, which is something thrifted. But I've got a little bit of fabric here. And I've got a little bit of fabric here near the nun's side. Beautiful bit of gorgeous piece from Rachel when I did the workshop. So favourite fabric, okay, so old quilt. Okay, so this is a very, very falling apart antique piece of quilt, which I've put next to this beautiful bit of material. And I've got another bit. These are so big they're hard to show. This was one I got maybe off Karen, my friend Karen. So I put a little patch next to these. Originally, you can see how long it is as I move it. That's the depth of it. The length is a lot longer, obviously, but these little end bits, I never thought I was going to put too much on them, but now I'm starting to put little extra bits. I think in the end this whole thing might be very full. If you hadn't seen before, I've got this lovely edging from the sewing box, and this is a beautiful bit of wool from either Rachel or Sarah, which is couched down, and I've done that all the way along both the ends. They're the same, the nun's thing there, and this one it's been couched down with a I guess it's a colour to match my kind of complementary colours, which I've got this, and on here I've got the 3 colours around here, because originally this was going to be a Christmas table runner, but I'm not much of a Christmas table runner person. So I know that I've already got a lot of stuff on here, but I am trying to put on the prompts. So favourite quilt, old quilt, favourite fabric, crochet doily. I did have this one already on. I don't know, is this a crochet doily? I mean, I don't know, but I had this beautiful green one, so I've put that one on. I've started to cover little bits, and I'm thinking, so one of the issues, even if it's ironed and it's old, it can be a bit bobbly. So I'm starting to add some bits over the top to kind of hide this and to also keep it flat. I've used an orange and I've couched down, if not every single little one of these, almost all of them. There's quite a lot, but it keeps it really flat around the edge. And then I started on the center, working my way around with a yellow. So even though originally this was meant to be a Christmas one with red and green, I've really been having a great deal of joy adding in, you know, the little off-whites and apricots, the yellows, the browns, and the golds, and a little bit of the pink. So it's a work in progress. Oh, and this was a little present from Missy when we were up there. So gorgeous. This I think for Helen gave me these French laundry label. So I'm still working on it. Now for the thrifted, I thought, it's all thrifted, isn't it? Let's face it. A lot of it's thrifted already, but I did find this in my stash, which I had picked up, thrifted, and it wasn't thrifted from an op shop. This came in that bundle that my sister got from the lady who went into the home and the kids cleaned out her house. So I thought this might be nice on here, and I have already cut one out just to save time. And I thought that'd be nice. So that kind of matches that, doesn't it? One of the other issues if I'm doing this, I've got to spread it out on the floor in the lounge when I'm looking at what I'm adding. But here, adding something, it's a little bit different. But that'll go nice over the top of that, I think. Around there, like that. I'm probably going off camera and I'm very sorry, these are very big. So I'm going to pin that down. And I hope I'm seeing lots of people's work in the Facebook group. It's amazing, it's fabulous. And then this is going to be, I haven't worked out yet. I thought, look, I could actually snippy and needle turn it, but I might leave the outer bits. I might leave that as a kind of a border around it. Might get a little bit frayed. Very nice. We are enjoying the weather at the moment in Melbourne. It's the end of winter, so we are starting to get some gorgeous spring days, which I am loving. Bit of a burst of energy, bit of, you know, just starting to look at the spring tasks around the garden. Okay, so that's going to be put on. I will come back because I want to show you a couple of other things. I don't know if I showed you the end result of my little heart that was made from the orts. I've put some little beads on. Just got a bit of Karen's mum's old tablecloth there behind it. That's so cute. And the other thing I've been doing, I didn't perhaps show the end of the house. I may have, I may not have, but the end of my house, I did put a bit of backing on, and then afterwards I thought, oh, well, I don't know why I did that, because it's not really a standalone piece. So I've got a bit of blanket, got a bit of that, and I've made a back for it. So that's all the same size. These are the projects I kind of do off camera at night, but I sometimes I like to share. And I think what I'm going to do is put in a canvas all the way around. So that'll require me to cut weird and wonky shapes to join that and stuff it so it actually stands up on a shelf. But I'm thinking no more than an inch, maybe an inch wide. So I've got to cut strips for that and do that. So that is still a work in progress. Now the other fiddly-faddly things I've been doing, which has just been a bit of fun, I've been making little kind of flower petal things that can just be put on slow stitched projects. They're just fun little things. But I wanted to show you that when I've been just starting just little patches, these are the sorts of things I'll add them to, and that's something I can add later to a book cover or anything I might like to play around with. It's all just play, isn't it? I mentioned last video I've been doing quite a bit of jelly plate printing, which is enormous fun, and I've been using some threads and some bits of, you know, cordage. This is a sheet set was wrapped up in this. It's just a cord, and I've been using that to get texture onto my jelly plate prints. And so I just have a bit of beautiful material, and I haven't finished it. So this is one of those ones that it just sits there by my chair at night, and I can pick it up and just go, oh, I can add a little something here. So that's getting there. That's just a little bit of fun. Now the other thing been making have just been little slow stitched fun books. I don't know if I showed them or not because my memory is like a sieve, but this is the cover, and I've got one more thing to add to this, and then I think this might go in the Etsy shop, this one. I'm going to add just some edging on these, probably a bit of lace or something like that. Got a little pocket, just closes. These are so much fun to make at night, just sitting, stitching, bit of fun. There's that one. Hope I didn't show these already, I'm a bit forgetful. And I thought I'd make myself a new slightly larger needle book. So this has got a lot of the French bits. This my favourite material, and this was something I made, and this was to go with my big basket that I will travel in the car with, and it's got indigo dyed bit of old pillowcase that I dyed, fun, and it's got just some blankets, not much. Wasn't meant to be a super thick book, just my other felt one is only this small, but sometimes I need something a little bit bigger. So that's my little trip book. My trip that's coming up, I think I might have shown a little bit of this, maybe not, I don't know. There was with Anne Brooke, we did tags. So we had 52 tags, so one a week for the year. But then the next year we did tag roulette, which she just pulled out whatever the prompt for the tag was, and we were making, I don't know what anyone else made, but I know I made this, which was on a bit of shirt front. What I've since done though is put it onto a backing, which is an old beautiful thick Irish linen. Made a little pocket, and it's now a little delicate book cover. Some of the prompts were things like, you know, wrapping a bit of a stick or something, making a little pocket and hiding a treasure. That was my favourite. I loved that. And I put French words on because it was a couple of years ago when I did go to Paris. Another little stick, things like buttons, bullion knots, this beautiful long bit of wool that someone had given me has been couched down, and it's really showing up the fact that this wool was quite amazing. Little snippets over bits with a button, more buttons. This was wrapping a bit of a rubber circle and doing a blanket stitch all the way around, and underneath was a beautiful bit of old embroidery, Suffolk puffs, bit of weaving, tassels. So many, it's a great project if you go to Anne's page, because her YouTube channel, it's probably still up and you can still do the prompts if you wanted to, either the tag or the tag roulette. What else have we got? Just circles. Anne loves her circles. This was layered bits of, you fold them and then you add one on top of and you get this beautiful effect. So that was great fun. Love that. And it's just another one of those projects, as with the Big Stitch quilt slow stitch book, where they're just sitting around and I'm going, what do I do with these things? Like, you know, as you keep creating and keep creating, you come up with more and more things, and you're trying to de-stash and you're buying more things to work with, and then you have all the stuff you've made, and what happens with them if they're things you're keeping. Obviously, if you're selling them, it's a different story, but if you're keeping them because this was a special project, I wouldn't want to sell it, because if I look at it, I can see all the different things that I did over the year, and I can look and go, oh, that's right, weaving, you know, just little reminders. Seed stitch, love a seed stitch. Anyway, that's what I wanted to update you with. And now back to Roxy's. let's get some stitching done. So I've been using this grey for quite a few things. It's quite handy. Okay, so I got started and the dog next door started barking its head off, so I can't guarantee it won't start again, but I thought I'll spare you. It might not annoy you, but it really annoys me. It's distracting. It's invasive. I'm actually quite sensitive to noise, so it's why sometimes I want to turn off the video when the planes are going overhead, or the kids next door are playing in the drive, or the dog starts barking. It's something, I might have talked about it before, but it's something that when I was in the studio upstairs in the spare room, I didn't have the issues as much so. But now that I've moved down into the garage, and I've actually have soundproofed, the walls are soundproof and the roller door is soundproof. The only problem is, of course, is that the roof is a metal roof with probably not much insulation. It's great in terms of I put in a split system, so it's not, you know, absolutely boiling in summer and freezing in winter. I can heat it up and cool it down, so it means I can get in here for quite a few hours, which is, oh, such a blessing. I'm so happy about it. It's so good. Okay. He didn't start to bark, which is wonderful. Oh, the joy. The joyful moments where we just have this gorgeous peacefulness and just the fun of stitching, and even having a chat to you, my friends. That's really good too. Fabulous. So I'm on a 7-week countdown, 6 weeks when this video goes up, and I will be driving up to Mossvale. I might have mentioned it. Where did that fly off to? To mind someone's little cat, and I'll be up there for 6 weeks. So I'm really looking forward to one of my personal art retreat style video and moments, and it'll be great because it's 6 weeks, so it's a lot longer than I normally go for. So I'm really looking forward to having a drive up. I'm hoping my carpal tunnel surgery will have been done before then. I'm still waiting because it's actually driving where the hands hurt the worst. I've got the arthritis under control for a while, so I am actually able to do some stitching, which is very good. Got a new doctor who is absolutely fantastic. My other doctor is also absolutely fantastic, but it costs an arm and a leg to go now there, so I've switched. There we go. Oh, I'm loving this. I know we're supposed to be making a whole big, massive quilt, but like the beauty of doing one of these, Roxy, do I want that there? I think I might cut that back. One of the Roxy projects is that it's not set in stone. You don't have to absolutely follow it to a T. You know, you can branch out a bit. And I knew I had 2 lots of travel at the end of this year, and it was going to be too much. I mean, driving up to New South Wales is great because you can take your car. And I did mention another friend. Oh, I haven't even. One day I'll meet you, Shana. But especially as we're both Melbourne people, I haven't met you yet. Also does some pet sitting as a way of being able to travel. Sama, did I say Shana? Sorry. Hello, Brain, where are you? And we were having a little laugh. So when I was minding my friend across the road's cats at Christmas, she wanted me to cut up meat, and it was big chunks of meat that had to be cut down into little cubes. And so Sana had said in her Facebook group for pet sitters how annoying it was that there was only cast iron frying pans available to use, because when you're at someone else's house and they require you, if you're staying there for any length of time and they require you to use, you've got to use what they've got. But they only had cast iron fry pans, and she wasn't used to using them. So she wrote a post, apparently. I don't know if you're watching, Sana. Having a bit of a giggle. I'm really giggling about it, and I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you because when I had to cut up the cat food it was just across the road, I took over my own knife in the end because her knives were so blunt. Anyway, the general consensus was in this particular pet sitting group was that if she didn't know how to use a cast iron frying pan, she was a bad pet sitter. How ludicrous is that? Anyway, because I'm doing a fly pet sit at the end of the year, I'm not going to announce in case she doesn't want me to say who it is, but we haven't discussed actually how we're going to approach it on our YouTubes. I said to Lily, do you think I can fly up with my knife just in case? You know, because I got my favourite knife. And then I said to her, oh, I know, maybe I only need to take a knife sharpener with me where I go. Anyway, Sana had said, well, they're in Tasmania, so they'd decided to take the car, because if you go for 6 weeks or, you know, if you go for a little while, you actually do need some of your own favourite creature comforts. And I said to her, well, if I'm driving, I take my pillow, and sometimes I even take my bedding, especially if it's somewhere cold, because I like a really nice warm bedding. So she said because they'd actually caught the ferry down in the car. You can catch, if you're not in Australia, you can actually catch a ferry, put your car on the ferry and go down to Tasmania, and so you've got your car with you when you get there, which is really good. Because Tasmania's, I think you can drive around it in about 5 hours, so it's small, but it's good to have a car. And it's good when I'm looking forward to the Moss Vale one, because having my car there, it just makes it easier to go to the shop for, some food. Easier if there are people to be able to go and visit. The Christmas one, I won't have a car available. Still trying to get a couple of people to come and visit. Got a friend who might visit if he goes home for Christmas in Queensland, I might be able to wangle him to come up and visit, and he'll have a car. So we'll see. See what happens with that one. Anyway, yeah, it's quite an interesting thing doing the pet sitting. It's nice to know someone else who you can share your stories with. Commiserate. It's like if you're a stitcher, you can commiserate with other stitchers about anyone stealing your scissors, your material scissors, and trying to use them for anything else. It's a bit similar. Ah, thank God that dog didn't bark again. Sounds like I'm whinging a bit, but you know, it actually can be quite annoying. All right, so I have finished this prompt. So I'm now up to the next prompt, which will come out. This video will be uploaded, and so the next prompt will be out tomorrow from when this is uploaded. But I don't want to do a video a week for it. I just want to come on and do little catch-up videos every so often and show where I'm up to and what I've been doing and what I've been thinking about, other than the general larger project videos. So let's just look at that. Here we go. Let's get it flat. Oh, I just love it. I love how these two go like that. You know, you can get something from Rachel and Sarah. This is probably actually antique Italian from Rachel. And then something somewhere completely different, but they do go together. They work well. I love that it's got a little bit of gold in, because I was trying to get that yellow, or, you know, some of the tones of the yellows in here. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to allow that to fray. I think that I've been trying to be quite precise at the start with it and really taking my time with it when we were working on it just before Christmas. But as with these workshops we do, ladies, we all talk way too much and don't get much work done, and it's great fun and no one complains about it because it's just lovely. Already booked in next year to Corinne's retreat up at Hervey Bay, and chatted to quite a few ladies who are going, and even got my friend Karen to be involved, which she's so happy about. So there you go, that's that. Now the only other thing I want to cover on this video is a couple of my updates on my journals, because some changes have happened with those. Okay, so current journals. I showed a few of these, but I just wanted to do a little update because this is finished now, and it's just full of all these jelly plate backgrounds. So when you roll your paint off your roller, just little bits of that, little muck around pieces, just testing something out, and if it doesn't work, so that's a roll off. You know, things like that, mucking around with on the plates with different mediums. This was Posca pen drawn onto the plate and then a colour put behind and then printed off. I wasn't happy with it. All these things in here are designed to be backgrounds for works later. So if you understand what I mean, I can show you probably in my other journal. So this is actually now filled up. Pretty sure there's one little gap there. I've now got a box that I'm collecting all my bits and pieces in. So I'll fill that up later today after my friend comes over for morning tea. A couple of bits spare there still. But in general, this is ready to go. Oh, there's another page. Almost ready to go for artwork. So it's a good little thing. I bought a little couple of dollar visual art diary to start actually doing roll-offs on each page. And this way I've got this pad to take with me, say at Christmas when I'm flying, it's already got ready-made collage backgrounds there, or the start of, or I can rip them out. So they're nothing at the moment, but I can use this as collage fodder. I can rip a page out and cut things out of it. I can draw on them. I had to tear a page out because it wasn't quite dry and it got stuck, but I've left this one in. That one, the side, that backing had huge holes in, so I've taken it out and I've actually, they've ended up somewhere in this book and ripped up. And just also different colours as well, just mucking around. With this, I've tried to not do any on the back because you want to be able to rip it out. So I don't know why I did that on that side. I probably just realised I was getting the pages stuck together because I was doing too much and not letting them dry before I turned the page. There was method in my madness. So some of the things in here are just what people might throw away. You know, they're just rubbish. They're not meant to be anything special. However, as collage fodder, as even if I cut out a square of that, it's like I've got a interesting thing I can doodle over the top of with Posca pens. That is just going to be great fun. I'm just very excited about that. Now this book that was my from a primary school or a high school, with every page had a religious text on, and I'm using it to collage over. And I mentioned that I'd missed a great big lot at the start because I kind of started it, you know, in April, and I'd gone back and done a little bit of collaging at the very start just to get it started. But because, as you can see, it's already what they call a gator mouth, it's getting even just, there's nothing thick, it's just an extra layer of paper to collage on each page. It just, you know, it just does bulk up a bit with the extras. So what I've ended up doing, and it's made it a bit hacky, it's a bit yucky, doesn't look that nice, but you know, it's my journal, it doesn't matter. It's not for display or to sell or anything like that. It's just pulled out a whole heap of pages, and now I've started pulling out pages. So when I'm away in December, I probably will pull out those pages and not use them, because this is a heavy book. I'm not going to be taking it on a flight. So we've been and looked through this before. I probably got it up to June or something. Let's take it from maybe July-ish. There are still pages that I can put things in that I was figuring I'd come back to in the following year. I may just put collages over them, because I think I will not come back and do any work in this next year. I'll start another one. So this one was designed to just write, went to the shops and changed the shoes that were one size too small. It's not meant to be a stunning narrative. It's just little snippets of my daily life. Eye test. Take care of yourself. And this reminds me of, it's like she's got that queen energy with the beautiful gold and the bracelets and all of that. Little collages that make me laugh. This was the 4th of July, and something I use quite a bit of is Collage Soup website. They occasionally have like little 3 or 4 page freebies that you can get and print out, and I love them for the colour and the inspiration. I did a little class with Liz. So I haven't ripped out this page because there's something on the back. I had picked up a couple of free zines where I went to with Liz, and so I've cut up some of the little letters from the zines and really just had fun. It's just fun. It's just my personal little experiences. Messy collage, another messy collage. There's a little pocket. No, this is just a little card that's in a coffee filter pocket that's been collaged. The C from my Kate in the Nest letters. This was a day where I just wrote a day of stitching, but I put some collage backgrounds because for me it's important to cover over those backings, because that's not what this is about. And this was a heart-shaped doily that I was trying to get a print on my jelly plate with. That's about the size of the jelly plate I've been using. I do have one that's actually really huge, but I'm not using that at the moment because I'm trying to perfect a particular technique and I don't want to waste, the ink and all of that sort of stuff. So that's fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Flowers and birds. My birthday. I've stuck on bits of card from people. So these beautiful cards I got have lovely memories of what the person wanted to say to me, about how they saw me. And that's really special. So I do it again. All right, so there's a blank, that's a blank page. So I'm just going to be ripping out the blank pages now. That was the COVID. I kind of lost a few days with COVID. Did not get in the garage too much. They're going. These now become roll-off sheets and gluing sheets. Now we're in August. It took me a little while actually to get out of the, not the doldrums of COVID, but just to get re-inspired and recreative. Got very orange there. And what I love is taking this, going over and scanning it because it's my work, and then printing it out as printables and then recollaging again with that. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. Okay, so I have this little tiny book and I decided to just use pen and ink, and every day I do a little drawing. It's not necessarily relating to anything other than just doodling. And this page was valid enough to scan because I've been using this and I loved using these. So when I scan it in, I can print it out larger, and I just enjoyed cutting these out. It's just fun. It's just a fun little thing to do. So as soon as there's anything I go, oh, I love that, I will scan. I think I'm going to scan this page. So this was yesterday and the day before. I haven't been using extra colour. There's just the dedication to using the fountain pen and dipping in the ink and just messing around. But once in a blue moon, I'll stick in a little bit of collage paper or dot some ink from something else, or a little bit, but it's not a lot. The idea isn't to do that. It's just it's kind of to break up for me a bit of the monotony in a way. So I had some spare ink and I just blopped it on here and saw, what does it inspire? It inspired me. It looked like a face, the yellow, the way that it went. This looked like a little whatever. That looks like sort of an egg, but also a flower. That's a little crab. look through a funny window. It's just fun. I love it. It's just noodle doodling. So that's where that came from. And even on this page, I've been still drawing flowers everywhere, and I decided I've got a bit of a thing about sardines at the moment, so I've become a sardine person. And see, this is that background from that little page I just showed you. I made gnocchi. That's all I had to say that day, and I obviously drew a fish. And I just have been having so much fun jelly printing, honestly. So I've been using paper bags. Now, so this, and I'm going to show you what I was talking about reprinting, scanning, printing your work, and then recollaging with it. So here's, like I was making the little material flowers, I've made a little paper flower. So let me find the page. This is my little visual diary. This book is one I put all kinds of little stories, little ideas, little hints, some of the pieces where I want to trace off. This has got a lot of my stitching projects. So I did a little intro class with Meredith Warno, and she was talking about the solvi and she does beautiful, beautiful work. So I've got information there. These have been from my Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, and I've even putting in bits of material to match. So I think I've shown these before, some flowers to stitch. I did show you, I'm pretty sure I've done that. A couple of templates from Anne Wood. This is a little Fleurwoods project online that you can get, and I just print up the pages either half size and then cut out the bits I want. So I've got the notes and some of the pictures. This was off a blog, just, you know, it's just, this is my muck around book, and I always have one of these on the go, and I always start a new one when it's time to start a new one. So I've also put in here the bits of material, put my little stencil template, you know, things like that. Some of these are some of the originals of the still life class that I did. I've just cut them down and cut them out and put them in just for a memory and to, I don't know, just inspire me. This basket was beautiful. It quite inspired me. Anyway, back to what I was really talking about. I got right off the track here, but I will go and scan that in. I've already scanned this in. I didn't scan that in yet, but I scanned this in, and now I've got these flowers and this. When I've scanned it in and printed it out, I can start to play and muck around. Now, I don't think this is a great page for scanning, and I've used a bit of that, but I did a jelly plate where I pressed flowers in. It didn't quite work, but I started to do Poscas in the little spots that were, you know, the negative space. And I feel actually that if I scan this in, it won't be for any of this, but I will scan that and use that and play around. I do like taking this work that I've done, it's my creativity, and taking it further by going and scanning it in, taking it into Procreate and having a play, all of that sort of stuff. But this one I have drawn new flowers, and I've stuck down that original flower that I've cut out a bit closer. I've covered up the jelly plate. That didn't work either with the flowers, but I've just had fun with the ink, and I really love the splashes of orange. I love the fact that I've started to add colour to this little cutout from my template, or my original, you know, from my original drawing that has been scanned in and reprinted as a printable. And then I've just added a lot of paint splotches. So today, this afternoon, that's one of my jobs, is to scan these in and have a record of them. Hi, future Christina, just popping back in, and just to show you what I did with these two. So I have scanned them both in, and what I like to do in my photo app is just have a play around with the colours. And so I like to print them up 2-up, because this is a really great size if you want to make a page in your journal or your collage book. It's still a good size if you want to use parts of it. So I usually print up 1 or 2 of those, and then I print up a couple of large size so I can cut out little elements and reuse them in my collaging. Okay, so I've got 3 of those. And then what I also do, as you can see, it's not overly saturated colour wise, but I desaturate, and I also print up a couple of normal size from what I've scanned, and I print up some 2 sides, you know. So this is almost, it could be cut down to postcard size if you wanted to print it on card. So that's my process, and I'll just show you, I've also done this side. I wasn't sure that I needed to print up one great big one, but I gave it a go, and I've printed a 2-up. I've done 2 of the big ones because I felt this area here was something I'd use a lot more of. So I've got 2 decent sizes of that and 2 smaller sizes. I don't know. You don't always use it. Sometimes it gets thrown out. But I just thought I'd pop back in and show you that. Now to continue with the rest of the video. This one hasn't worked at all. However, I think I might scan it in and print it out and see if I can use some of these lovely textures from that bit of cording that I had on the jelly plate. And some of these, the green ended up being too bright, but I've still got a bit of cording here, a bit of cording here. So it still may be good collage photo. So that's my sketchy art journal. I did before I do the flowers magic, because I didn't do flowers magic this year, but I made a journal and did my own stuff in it. I have been having fun with different bindings. So this was a Priceline bag, and what I had was a whole heap of these pockets that I'd made, and I thought, what are they doing? They're just sitting there. They're too big for a book. You know, for A4, they're too wide. They've got the staples. So I put them in a pile, and then I said, oh, I'll make a journal. So I've got a Priceline bag. Here's the bits. These have got little pockets, and I've added in other little bits. Listen to this. Isn't that? Oh, that's just such a good sound. So I've got a Taco Bell bag. I've got another one. I've got 300 grams is a burger shop, a little pocket. It's got a window, pocket, another window. So these ones were made with envelopes, and the back. And I haven't started any work in that yet. That's just another idea for a journal. I've got one of these binding machines, very good fun. One more before I go through the flowers magic. Bear with me. This was a very big Jungle Book, and I had cut all the pages out, and I think I've shown you this one before, but it's ready to start being worked on. So I've cut it down, and what I've got is a fold over bit of paper card that I've put made it like a little fold over, and I've put string to hold it in so it can be taken out to work on. And this one's just got just a whole heap of pages, so they're ready to be worked on, painted, collaged, whatever inspires me. But this is one that hasn't been started yet, so got a bit of fun doing that one. But you can see I can make it tighter. I usually use elastic, so that will possibly change. But plenty of spaces to do anything. So I love that. Okay, Flowers Magic. My Flowers Magic version for the year. Right, so this is one I just made. I used some of the leftover little circles from my flowers that I was making, the multi-layered flowers, cut out leaves. So these are all gouache painted and Posca pens. And then I stitched, got a couple of those, did a little bit of clunky mark making, but the flowers are quite large on this page, and this was one of the pages I ripped out. So it's not too bad to pull out these pages because you can use them. You can use them for anything. So I've got some French knots, and this one is where I'm up to putting in my Flowers Magic. I think I'm running out of space. I know I've shown a few of these before. This was this circle here. These were painted leaves I did in one of, might have been in Willa Wanda's intro before doing the fodder, collage fodder, maybe. Something like that, where I've painted on the leaves, and I can't remember the lady's name, but I've just been going through and using pen and ink or Posca, or even, you know, when your washi tape runs out, dip it in some paint or ink and make little marks, mark making things. Little card inside, just painted underneath with that's a coloured gesso, so it's really great. It holds ink well. Yep, flower out of magazine. These ones are little washi stickers you can get in a little book. Plants, flowers, mucking around. Little card inside a pocket. Doodling flower drawings. Using a punch with a flower sort of shape to get some flowers. Collages with garden pieces and flowers. In a pocket. Another pocket. Flowers and bees. Birds. This is another pocket. This is one of the very, very first pieces I was making with collage and ink. Very, very, very early days of my YouTube channel. Added in, this is old jelly plates, little pocket. This is a jelly plate with a flower that I consider worked. I've put the flower onto the jelly plate, got the background, pushed the paper down, or this is deli paper, pushed it down onto and around the flower, lifted it a bit, taken the flower out, put it back down, and then printed it with the flower there. I loved that, and I loved this. And this was a bunch of flowers I got for my birthday, and so whenever I see this, it's another memory. It's a memory of, I remember Huss gave me this bunch of flowers for my birthday, and, you know, it just really looks, you know, it's a great way to keep that memory with the jelly plate of a pressed flower. So, yep, there's another, the Macca's bag. That was a bit of collage soup printout on, I think that was July the 4th, the freebie. Got an old card that I just drew don't quite like it. But it was wet on wet, and it goes in there. This is what I made the other day with the flowers. Just a little page that I had done some white gesso on. I've done the background with a bit of ink and paint. So I put a whole heap of ink splotches, blues up the top, oranges down the bottom, and then sort of scraped over them so they smoosh across. And then I got a bit of the gesso and started to paint the background. Then I had all these bits of book pages. So these pages often just get thrown out. So I've painted them with gouache and made some little clouds. Added Posca pens over the top to give more definition and background. Didn't paint behind all the way, I just did it there. And some of these pages I've used scissors to scuff up the edges a little bit. Not quite as much as I would have liked to, but kind of worked all right. And so now I am working out, where is this going? Envelope. So I've got a few blank spots still. This was one that didn't quite work, flower jelly plate, but I still love the shape of the carnations that came out. These are too big, too small. This is too big, but what I can do is use some washi, stick it across here, and it becomes either a new page, or you can stick it. It's too big to go this way. I think what I might do is stick it there so as it's attached to this page. I'll try and cover as much of the stitching as possible. I can always add some washi tape up there and down here and put it in here like that. And there's still places to do a few more arty. I'll just put it there. That'll, yeah, that's probably going to go right there. Right. I like that I still got some pages to do some more things, because I'm kind of hitting that spot where I'm running out of all of my journals, you know. Like, I realise this is, I've gone way past half a month and there's really only about a month's worth of pages in this little one. I love it. I got this off Temu. I'm thinking I might order a whole heap of them so I've got a pile to, you know, work on, and I can see my progress over a year. I'll need about 12 if I'm going to do a year's worth, but anyway, that's it. That was a lot. That was a lot. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week for the August Kate in the Nest. I'm really excited about what I'm making, so I've got to get started with the video and get it underway. But thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.